After completing my main task and both ancillary texts, I feel the combination was very effective as they all include the same main elements. The main synergistic feature of my campaign is our main character, Hayley Brown. In the film, she is a protagonist who is vital to the plot in the battle between good and evil. Therefore, I felt it was important to heavily incorporate her in my campaign, as it immediately provides a connection for the target demographic to identify all products as the same film, consequently increasing the fan base prior to the release, which is the purpose for the promotional campaign. I feel I demonstrate her significance in the trailer through the use of editing, like a slow zoom we used on her saying "I really don't like this," and a short reverse shot between her and another character, ending on her looking scared as the last shot of the trailer. This highlighted her importance as a main character because the emphasis was on her. In my poster, I further supported this with a single shot of her covering her mouth. I used this shot not only to create synergy between my products, but also to engage the audience. It conveyed fear and would shock a first-time viewer, which is what a horror movie poster should do in order to increase their fan base. Further to this shot was taken of Hayley in jeans and a jumper, which allowed me to create a sense of realism for the audience, as this is the stereotypical clothing of a teenager, who would represent the large majority of our target audience between the ages of 15 and 25. This was a common element seen in both my trailer, as well as the image of Hayley on the magazine front cover, as she is wearing exactly the same clothing to ensure it was as synergistic as possible. This allowed the audience to identify Hayley as the same character, being from the movie D.O.B. I also chose to use Hayley as she has such an innocent and unique appearance. Not only does this make her easily identifiable, but also emphasises the danger for the audience due to her innocence. Further to this, the mise-en-scène in the poster heavily connoted the horror conventions, as I used an old-looking wall that gave very little hint as to where the location was. In our research, I found a common fear for audiences was the fear of the unknown, and therefore I decided to incorporate this here, as it was such a typical psychological thriller convention. This was a synergistic element, as there is a shot of India walking past the same location in our trailer, as well as further isolated locations such as an abandoned barn as seen in our intertitles. The narrative involves the characters in our film being haunted and are in danger throughout. A common theme that is presented through our three products is this. Firstly seen in our magazine front cover as our main character Hayley Brown is looking into the camera and screaming and reaching out with her hand. The reaching out with her hand connotes the narrative as she is trying to get away from something, and also shows she is looking for some help. Further to this, it is supported by the screaming expression on her face. I took the photo in the daytime in a well-lit area to ensure the shot was in high-key lighting and as clear as possible, as it truly emphasised the fear in her face. Further engaging the audience with this product, as it is a common feature for film posters to have clear, high-key lighting shots of the characters on the front cover. This narrative of danger is exemplified in the trailer by a quick low-angle shot of India being hung and a close-up of Hayley's expression of shock when being told, "You must break the connection." Further to this, there is also a long shot of Hayley with her hand over the mouth, as previously spoken about, against the wall for my movie poster. The hand over her mouth reflects the fact she is trying to hide from something, engaging the audience with the narrative and creating an element of fear. Furthermore, the narrative of psychological haunting is an element I managed to maintain throughout all the products to ensure the audience were maintained interested. In my research of combinations of promotional media products, I found how often they maintain synergy of the font and colour of their title. Firstly, I found a very effective font and colour to use for my title at the end of the trailer, which was simple yet very effective as it left an impression on the audience. However, when looking to incorporate the same style onto my magazine and poster, it simply wasn't as effective. Therefore, I decided to subvert this common convention and use different styles of font and colour that matched each of my products individually. However, a feature I hadn't seen in my research was a bold synonym as a title, as we had chosen DOB, short for date of birth. Therefore, as my title was so unique, the title itself was easily recognisable. Subverting this theme of synergistic font and colour, therefore, was not as much as an issue, as the audience can easily relate these products together through the use of the title anyway. As explained, Hayley is the main character, however there are still three other important characters to the film's plot. This is seen through our trailer, as there is a high key angle of them all standing around and also a non-gigantic voiceover saying 4 strangers. Therefore, my film poster is only an example of one of a series of 4 posters which I would make when promoting the film. This is a promotional method I have seen in my past research of The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, which Google Brands Lab used an example of world building. Therefore, using this method it will allow me to do the same for my audience. Also, our USP is the inclusion of 4 different strangers, bringing them together in an unknown situation. This is a feature seen throughout my products as they are all detached and alone, shown here in the series of 4 different movie posters, rather than having them all together. They don't know one another in the trailer, and in my front cover I use photo manipulation to put Sean and another main character on the picture frame for a special interview. However, Sean remains detached from Hayley's photo, effectively conveying our USP throughout my products. Also, in my poster I incorporated a ghost from our trailer to portray her as a vulnerable victim, keeping a common element throughout my products as she is portrayed in the same way throughout my trailer and magazine. Therefore, the characters are effectively represented throughout all of my products. My institutional information is another element I had to maintain throughout. You can see how Pinnacle Productions is our production company, as I have clearly put it in large font on the end of the titles of the trailer and in small print at the bottom of the poster, which I felt was important to emphasise in both the trailer and the film poster, as it is a common convention we saw in our research of similar films. Further to this, the release date was a feature I needed to ensure was synergistic, as the effectiveness of the task falls on the fan base built for the release date of the film. On the film poster I used In Cinemas This Summer, as it builds an element of suspense as the audience is not exactly sure when it will be released, making them further engage with the promotion, such as our trailer, which they can find out that the film is actually released on the 22nd of June, effectively tying these 2 products together. It was also on the final frame of our trailer, which makes it more memorable for the audience and increases the viewing numbers. Using my tagline on all the products is also an element of synergy, as it gives them an insight into the film. Keep telling yourself it's just a date, as seen through the voiceover at the end of the film and at the top of my poster. The tagline will also be features in the special interview of Sean as seen in the front. Overall, I feel the combination of my main task and ancillary text was very effective, as they all clearly have synergistic elements that tie them together and make the campaign memorable for a target demographic, consequently increasing the amount of viewers my film will get, essentially the reason for this promotion, which would suggest that it will be a success. As discussed, I made the title, tagline and characters all large on each of the products, as these are what I want the consumer to immediately identify, and in doing so, promoting the film successfully.